do not understand that.
Emotions, love, pride, hate, fear. Have you no emotions, sir? Oh, if you actually think that I was going to wear that and that all the way through this retrospective, you are very much mistaken, because one, I looked ridiculous, and two, that sock around my neck really blocks my airway. Not very sensible, I know. Doctor Who, the 10th Planet, the 29th story of the first Doctor, is written by Kit Pedler and Jerry Davis and starring William Hartnell, Anika Wales and Michael Craze. This is the introduction of the Cybermen and regeneration, meaning William Hartnell's last regular story as the first Doctor. Oh boy. As of course he reprised the role in the Three Doctors. It's got a specially designed graphic sequence used for the opening titles and closing credits created by Bernard's Lodge to make it look like a computer printout, which I loved. To those who are new to this series, I do Doctor Who retrospectives, including spin-offs where I do a little documentary, not a critic review. This is where I talk about the productions, the story and what I like about it, and they are my honest, positive opinion. There's no fake positive opinions. It might seem like it, but I am 100% being honest with yous. So yeah, proceed the story. So the rocket Zeus 4 flies off into space, and there's people in Snowcap, a tracking station in South Pole. So the TARDIS materialised in South Pole in the year 1986, which is great setting, and the technology for the time is well predicted. Polly loves the Doctor's wardrobe, so the Doctor, Polly and Ben went out the TARDIS and gets captured by two men. So they go inside the Snowcap and meet General Cutler as everyone communicates with two men in rocket and discovers another planet called Mondas, which is a twin planet of Earth, which is interesting. The Doctor tries to explain what Mondas is, but gets interrupted by Cutler as he says it's ridiculous. The Doctor announces that there will be visitors on planet Earth, which we obviously know who that would be. And because Cutler thinks the Doctor, Ben and Polly have got something to do with the mysterious planet, he sends two men to try break into the TARDIS. After a spaceship landed, one of them ran off as the other tries the TARDIS, and we get a fantastic opening with the Cybermen and the iconic theme. It's so terrifying. The way that Cyberman knocks a guy out like this to his neck is pretty brutal. It's nicely done. So the two soldiers went to the TARDIS as two Cybermen got in disguise and knocked both men out. What an amazing cliffhanger. Obviously, General Cutler doesn't believe the story about Mondas and the visitors to planet Earth, so while radios those guys on rockets, he's going to bring them back to Earth. The Cybermen get in disguise so they can go inside the Snowcap with corpses buried in snow, which is pretty grim. So a news reporter reveals the sightings of Mondas as everyone is using their radio to talk to Zeus 4. Cybermen arrived and killed a soldier. Cybermen don't think they will return, plus they don't care about human life and introduce themselves as Cybermen.
We are called Cybermen. Cybermen? Yes, Cybermen. We were exactly like you were.
I loved how they open their mouth when they speak like this. Just like modern series where the blue light shows when they speak, they're absolutely terrifying.
How? Our lifespan was getting shorter, so our scientists and doctors devised spare parts.
So after a Cyberman puts Cutler to sleep for a bit and forces Barclay to tell International Space Control that there's false alarm, Ben tries to fight them, but he gets caught by a Cyberman and snapped a gun and locks Ben up in the projector room. Inside of the rocket seems to go up in flames. Cybermen pretty much explain what they are, as Polly is like, why won't you help them? How can you not care about human lives? And the Cybermen just doesn't care at all, which is pretty dark. Cybermen don't understand the feelings, and we get an iconic Doctor's line where he says, emotions, love, pride, hate and fear. Have you no emotions, sir? Great line. After Ben uses a projector to blind a Cyberman, he takes a weapon off him and killed him. So he sneaks back into the tracking room and gave to General Cutler, who just woken up, and he managed to kill all Cybermen in the room. However, the Doctor thinks he shouldn't have done that because what they've learnt. So General tells the Geneva about the attack and secure the base from further invasion, and his son is trapped in orbit. Which every time I hear that word orbit, I'm thinking of this tasty chewing gum. So everyone looks at the scanner and notices that there's more spaceships landing on Earth, pretty intense. William Hartnell was a wonderful and perfect as the first Doctor. Obviously he's not in part 3 because William Hartnell was too ill, which is why the Doctor spends most of the time sleeping in this part, and his lines are mostly given to Ben, which can't be helped, and which is why they didn't give the Doctor much to do in case an event happens. Even though he was ill and having a hard time getting along with new crew, he fought so hard for the character in the show. He did it so well. You can tell he's a nice guy. I wish he's here to see that the show is still going because of him. I really wish I met him. He really enjoyed doing Doctor Who, and it's a shame that he had to leave because of his condition. And I do love William Hartnell as the first Doctor. Anika Wales as Polly, who works in Post Office Tower as a secretary for Professor Brett. I think she's amazing. She's free-spirited and likeable. Michael Craze as Ben Jackson, who's a sailor, is great as well. He's rebellious and kicks ass. I do love those two companions. The Doctor may not do much, but at least we get to know more of those two companions. Robert Beatty played General Cutler, who's a military officer and the boss of the Snowcap. The actor did an amazing job playing a horrible and idiotic general. We do understand that he wants his son to be safe, but he does some crazy stuff. Earl Cameron played Glyn Williams, an astronaut in the Zeus 4. Dudley Jones played John Dyson, who's a supervising engineer in Snowcap. David Doddermead played Barclay, who's a scientist who helps Ben and Polly. The whole cast did a great job. I love the stock music in this story. I think it's well done. It's so iconic. The design of the original Cybermen is fantastic. I love the voices as it sounds creepy and it works really well. It's not annoying in the slightest. Like I said, I love the way they open their mouths every time they speak. The cloth covering their face is a great idea, as I do see zombies in a horror film wearing bandages around their faces covering their yucky, badly ripped open wounds, and it's perfect. The suits are brilliant, and you can tell the Cybermen are not only robots, but they are humans upgraded. They're walking corpses in a machinery suit. So the Doctor collapsed as he's suffering exhaustion, so Ben and Polly takes him into a bedroom so he can rest, and Polly noticed that the Doctor is worn out. Meanwhile, General Cutler orders Z-bombs for Mondas, but Ben and Polly disagrees as Mondas is already suffering as it absorbs too much energy. While everyone is communicating with Cutler's son, Ben and Polly asking Barclay's help to call off the attack, another Cybermen of spaceship arrived in South Pole. The traps have already set up and the Cybermen get killed. The effects is pretty neat. So Ben crawls through the ventilator shaft in the lab to disarm the bomb, so General Cutler investigates as he noticed Barclay isn't in the room, and he knocks Ben over the railing, which has got to hurt. Cutler knows that Barclay is helping Ben and Polly, but he needed him for launching, and part 3 ended with a countdown. Oh god, this is pretty intense. Sadly part 4 is missing, but I think the animation is great. Hopefully they'll find it somewhere in the archive. Because the launch has failed, General Cutler is really mad and he plans to kill the Doctor, Ben and Barclay, as he thinks that they've killed his son. So the Doctor arrives back in the tracking room as he's recovered for a bit. He mentions that his body is wearing a bit thin, as you know what that means.
Let's have a look, dear boy. Yeah.
So General Cutler was about to kill Barclay, the Doctor and his companions, but luckily for them, the Cybermen came and killed General Cutler. The Doctor offers the Cybermen to live with humans on Earth peacefully, which would be nice, but the Cybermen preferred to remove humanity by turning them into Cybermen. So Cybermen took Polly into their spaceship and placed her on those metal chair. So the Doctor contacts with the International Space Center that also got taken over by Cybermen to inform of the situation. While the lads are disarming the bomb, they manage to kill the Cybermen with radioactive equipment, and Haynes gets killed. As they communicate with Cybermen, the Doctor gets taken to Cybermen's spaceship where Polly is. Because Mondas is absorbing too much energy, it melts and the Cybermen gets disintegrated. So Ben went to the Cybermen's spaceship to see the Doctor and Polly. Polly got free and so did the Doctor, who's obviously unwell and said it's far from feeling all over. and that he needs to go straight back to the TARDIS with his last words are, "Ah yes, thank you, it's good, keep warm." So the Doctor rushed off alone, which is the moment where he meets the 12th Doctor in Twice Upon a Time. The first Doctor's last words was originally going to be something like, no, I simply will not give in. But the time was running short and they wanted to film the regeneration scene as well as possible, and they were going to have the first Doctor delaying his regeneration. Plus Stephen Moffat explored more of that on Twice Upon a Time with David Bradley playing the first Doctor and meeting his future 12th Doctor played by Peter Capaldi, and the original script for the 10th Planet Part 4 didn't have a regeneration scene, and because of William Hartnell's illness, the producer came up with an idea. Since the Doctor is an alien, he can have ability to change his physical appearance into a new man. So after the events of Twice Upon a Time, the Doctor lets Ben and Polly into the TARDIS, and the Doctor falls unconscious on the floor with a bright light on his face, which is nicely done. And his face changed, which means the first Doctor has regenerated into the second Doctor played by Patrick Troughton, as Innes Lloyd was looking for the second Doctor, who may be nothing like the first Doctor, but William Hartnell really loved the idea, as he said there's only one man in England who can take over, and that's Patrick Troughton. Man, I friggin' love this story. It's so sad to see William Hartnell going, but it has to be done in order to continue the show. What's your thoughts of this story? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.